and we are at this stage called music production. What
Yeah.
does that entail?
Well, music production is kind of the stage where after you've kind of finished recording everything, it's the decisions whether you want to add a few more instruments, whether you want to add last minute sort of, you want to process something, for example.
Okay.
You want to treat something slightly differently before the song goes for a mix.
Okay.
And then once that is done, then it's sent off to mix to a mix engineer. So an engineer will come in, and I'll usually brief him on what kind of sound I want. There's anything specific that I want in the song.
Okay.
In terms of treatment. Well, he'll use the computer as a recorder. This is what we do.
He uses
over
the
here.
timeline on the...
Yeah, but we like to use this board because we have this really fantastic mixer over here, and it's a great sounding analog board. And so we usually use pretty much every channel on this board to make everything sound big and fat.
How many channels does this board?
Well, this is actually a 24-channel board, but it's got infinite amount of pages, so it can duplicate as many tracks as you have in Logic.
Dhruv, tell me, do most professional music recording studios have the kind of layout or setup that you have over here, like the Hans Zimmers of the world, Clint Mansell's?
Well, it depends actually. This is kind of a great space for a music composer to compose and mix.
Absolutely.
So I don't think that there is anything lacking today, in terms of technology or talent in the country today. Like a studio for this is at par with any studio in New York, I think, or LA and any of those places, I think. Especially for the way the entire architecture of this and the environment is designed.
You were telling me about this room being something like, not a hanging garden, but something like a bubble inside another enclosure. What is that all about?
It's what you call a floating floor. It's a room within a room. So it's basically resting on 100, maybe 1,000 of these shock absorbers, basically, which are kind of on the ground. So this is to take away the ground noise from the building, I guess. But it's worth, if you're setting up a studio or a home setup, worth doing a bit of research, and actually doing quite a bit of research to make sure that what you're hearing is actually the real deal. And this is designed by this very famous acoustician called Andy Munro, who's a British acoustician who's designed Mark Knopfler and U2 and some pretty heavy studios in Europe and UK and even America, actually.
Okay. Last bit, how do you master, how do you print that single onto the CD?
Well, once your songs for your entire project are finished, and you finished mixing, then you take it to a mastering facility. What a mastering facility does is essentially it takes all the tracks in the order that you want it, and they kind of line up all the tracks together, and they listen to it, and then they do final EQ adjustments and loudness or attenuation adjustments, because there might be some tracks that might be louder or softer than others, depending on the kind of music.
Okay.
What a mastering engineer does is gives you a unified experience.
Okay.
So it sounds like it's all done in one sort of period.
Okay. Can you master a CD here?
Well, we've got some pretty killer stuff actually. We've got like the Slam and the Very Mu are great mastering boxes. We've got the Massenburg presets in the TC, which is a phenomenal EQ algorithm for mastering. And then there's little things that you add in Logic, so it's kind of a mix and match of a couple of things. Well, once the master is done, then the mastering studio, or in this case, we heard the entire CD once from start to finish, locked it, and then you make what is called a glass master, which gives you basically codes for each of those tracks. That glass master is sent to the record company, or the distributing company in this case, and it goes to a duplication facility, which actually duplicates those glass masters into thousands, or as many variants as you need to print.
This is what it finally looks like, right, Dhruv?
Yep.
Fantastic. So we have shown you, or rather made you listen to snippets of the song Conscious throughout the entire process, right from ideation to mastering. Now is the time where you get paid for your patience. That's right. You get to listen to Conscious, song number 2 on Distance, the album. And I don't know about you, but I quite like this track now. I don't know if that's because I've been listening to it so many times over the period of, mastering and tracking and all of that. Let's take a look at Conscious. That's what you heard. Song number 2, Conscious, from Dhruv's latest album, Distance. You can write into us on techtoys@tech2.com and let us know how you found this track. I personally like it because it takes me completely away from the city in a zone which is beautiful beaches and coconut trees and... Okay, that's sounding more like Kerala. Anyway, Dhruv, thank you so much for taking us through the entire process, showing us all the beautiful toys and a zillion buttons and knobs here and there and demystifying all of it for us. Famous last words for budding musicians and music connoisseurs?
Budding musicians, I would just say, just keep practicing and just keep studying music, I guess.
Okay.
And music connoisseurs, please buy music. Don't download it illegally. Support the arts. I think it makes a difference.
Say no to piracy.
Say no to piracy, I guess. Yep.
After all